What if your body contains the zombie gene? What if life is not over when you die? Imagine yourself existing even after you have said goodbye to the world. Would you still be a part of this universe like before, or will you exist as something else? In today's video, we will discover the big question: what if there is life after death? So think, what if life doesn't end when our heart stops beating? What if your life is just different? But how do you exist if you are not alive? And what does it really mean to die? Could it be that some experiences make us feel like we are dying, but we are just near death in reality? In that case, death would mean that we live in a completely different form. Now, before we get into the details of these questions, give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Now back to what I was saying. It's common for some people to have a near-death experience. You might think that it's just about their heart and brain giving up, but it's much deeper than that. Have you heard of this invisible string that keeps your soul connected to the body? Well, many people who have had a near-death experience describe themselves as floating over their bodies. They can see themselves lying there, connected by this string. At that point, since they are not really dead, they can hear the doctor supposedly saying that they might lose them. But luckily, they come back and tell us of this experience. Now, doesn't this make you even more curious to know what's on the other side? I mean, these people who were nearly there got some taste of it, but many of them don't even remember the experience long enough. And if you weren't lucky enough to make it back, well, then your body starts turning into a zombie. That is literally what happens because certain cells called zombie cells or glial cells expand and cause inflammation inside your brain. Meanwhile, the body grows colder. And if these cells grow and spread over your brain, that invisible string starts to break off. If a zombie apocalypse was something you had been preparing for since your childhood, well, it's going to happen, just inside your head and not the way you imagined. Now here's the thing. Losing your connection to this world doesn't mean it's over. There's still hope for you. Once the dying part is over, meaning that your body has given up, another journey begins. And if you think you are alone in this, you are mistaken. Dolores Cannon suggests that there is someone called a greeter who comes to accompany you once you leave your body. This greeter can be someone you used to know, an old relative, or anyone else, but they don't leave you alone. So here's a thought. Where are we going after we die? Where is this person taking us? Do you ever have dreams of being in another dimension? Some weird dreams that don't make sense, and when you wake up, you instantly start to forget them. Many people, including Dolores Cannon, suggest that our souls leave the body when we go to sleep at night. You go off into the unknown adventures, free to do whatever you want to, flying to another dimension, another planet, or anything you can think of. You don't need to be jealous of Wendy from Peter Pan anymore because her midnight adventures are nothing compared to what you probably have every night. But eventually, the soul must return to the body when it's time for you to wake up. You can't hide from the reality any longer. Time to face your workday ahead. Now this is where things are different when you die because then the soul does not return. That's because the body that is left behind begins to deteriorate and you are now stuck on the other side. The only way you can perhaps come back is as a ghost. And you know that is a good way for you to give that one annoying person from your gym a good scare. But essentially, when you die, you are now in a whole other world, and some people suggest that there is no heaven or hell over there. So then what is? According to the hypnotherapist and author we have mentioned before, Dolores Cannon identifies 3 places we are likely to end up at, and that depends upon our frequency and vibration. And all these places act like schools, and they try to correct the mistakes you made in this life so you don't make them again. So it's kind of like a wheel of time where you get reincarnated in some form, but you don't remember a thing. Now the first place is the lower astral. This is for those people who are considered earthbound, people who live their life in such a negative way that they don't think they can go anywhere else. For them, this life is all that there is. So this would have the people who are murderers, drug addicts, alcoholics, and so on. Even after they die, they are in denial that it's not over, and so they keep lingering around the people who did the same bad activities as them, hoping to get the same sensations. Of course, they don't, and everything seems pointless to them. The greeter is just standing there waiting, sort of like you might be watching a 4-year-old kid at a toy store crying about something he can't have. After some time, they do agree to go and they now have a chance to become better people. There is also something called the middle astral, which most religions call heaven. This might just be the perfect place you have always imagined, where you can live your life just the way you like it. You could live in the house you had on Earth or some imaginary castle, surrounded by the people you knew who have also died. So this place is just like the heaven we read about, surrounded by hills, lakes, and flowers. But this doesn't last forever either. After some time, you'll have to review your life so that you can move on. Imagine you are standing in some law court, and the elderly is judging every moment of your life that is playing in front of you, and you can see everybody you have ever heard in any way, and not just from your viewpoint, but theirs as well. Next time you are about to say something mean, you might want to think twice. The realization that hits you at that time will force you to do better the next time, so you will keep on trying and trying until it's not working and it's time to just let go of your story entirely. Now, have you ever seen Roman or Greek temples? Something similar to those exist in the upper astral. This has all the schools, called the temples of wisdom and healing, with huge pillars and domes covered in stone. This is where people are lined up, all in different stages of growth, ready to cleanse themselves of their past and reach the place they are supposed to. So if you feel negative energies have taken over you, this is the place to go. Some people even reach this place through meditation. In this place, you have the chance to draw up a plan for your life, where you go back and attempt to fix the mistakes you made. But the catch is, you can't remember a single thing. You are born as a baby and are going to learn everything again. But when will this endless cycle end? What if you don't want to go back? Does all this even mean that we are dead? So the idea of these stages and this cycle of your life is to learn lessons and do better. And so eventually, when you are back at the upper astral, you want to be satisfied with the way you have lived, such that you get off the wheel of time. What happens after? Well, you reach God, and now you never have to go back to that place again. It could be that there is this ultimate destination waiting, a peaceful existence if you don't want to think it's God. But the problem with believing there is some life after we die and our bodies give up is that there is no way to know for sure. I mean, imagine you are saying to your boss that you would come back and do your job properly after you die because in this one you are too lazy. This is where people like Robert Lanza come in, who believe death is just a figment of our imagination and that there are no actual boundaries that can define death. But we have seen how that point can be where our soul and body gets completely separated and maybe our life after death begins. Since we can't remember how we lived, Ray Kurzweil, director of engineering at Google, suggests we could upload digital copies of our brains online. Imagine watching a live movie about your life. But in any case, this would require some more advancement in technology. The big mystery of whether there is life after death remains. Could it be that we are living in a wheel of time, continuously coming back to fix our mistakes? Or do we simply not exist in any place or state once our body has given up? These are difficult questions to answer, and they really make you think about the meaning of life. So live every second with appreciation. Until then, you can continue finding out what lies beyond death.